You know, you want to talk about disgusting, you want to talk about insulting, you want to talk about animalistic. This is exactly what it's all about here tonight, a part of the Gaming Weekly, folks. Of course, over the past 2 years, there's been an ongoing investigation by the Golden State of California over there in the company of Activision Blizzard, the same company that was behind Call of Duty and Overwatch, two games that became so popular, it became a conglomerate. But of course, it was quite disturbing to read earlier today, according to the news articles, that there was some allegations now coming to light and now onto the public where apparently there was some sort of discrimination and some assault going on over there in Activision Blizzard. And I'll tell you, folks, of course, after reading all of that, it has been nothing more but a disgust, repulsive actions by that company alone. And California now is issuing a lawsuit against that company. And you know what? In my opinion, my honest opinion, hopefully it does get sued. We'll talk about it. And this is where it gets disturbing, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, according to the articles that were released earlier today, and I gotta say that this was trending earlier today as well because of the fact that nobody was believing that they were reading all this stuff. I mean, this is the most disgusting thing that you'll ever read. We'll get to that in just a minute, but we understand that the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing has filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for the violations of the state's civil rights and equal pay laws regarding its treatment of women. Now, we understand that these said women that was actually working for these companies have come forward earlier today to collaborate, of course, with this lawsuit. They've been stating that all these different stories now, they've been actually telling their own stories to the public for the public to understand exactly what is going on, what has happened behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and thankfully now they're actually shedding some story to light that allow these women to freely express themselves, for them to get some justice out of this. According to the lawsuit, it was again, a result of a 2-year investigation to the studio by the state agency. We understand that Activision Blizzard had some sort of, quote, frat boy culture, a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Can you imagine that? We're talking about Activision Blizzard, that same company that made Call of Duty and Overwatch, two popular games and other games out there that the world likes to play. Activision Blizzard, nothing more but, hey, listen, you know what? I'm actually not even going to compliment that because of the fact that I'm reading all this stuff. Completely disgusting. I was going to say nothing but a very good company in terms of creating all these video games, but guess what? You know what? After all this stuff happening and going down, why am I going to give these people credit? I mean, come on. I mean, can you imagine that? We're talking about Activision Blizzard, one of the top companies in the world, creating Call of Duty and Overwatch, many of the great games that many people all over the world like to play, and all of a sudden this is happening behind closed doors. Well, we understand also that the lawsuit described an atmosphere where women have to continually fend off unwanted blank comments and advances by their male co-workers, and we're being, well, I'll tell you, I can't necessarily say that word, but I'll put it bluntly, we're just being completely, well, harassed at that. Nonetheless, we understand there is also some sort of cube crawls. I have no idea, folks. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Cube crawls. You heard me correctly. Where in the office, women were subjected to cube crawls in which male employees would drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawled their way through various cubicles in the office and often engaged in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely disgusting. The lawsuit then read, male employees proudly came into work hungover, playing video games for long periods of time during work while delegating the responsibilities to female employees, engaged in banter about their blank encounters, talking openly about female bodies, and joking about the R word. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're talking about a company here. I mean, folks, this is a company that has made millions of dollars, made great games like Overwatch and Call of Duty, so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. And the fact of the matter is, this is going on behind closed doors. These poor victims are subjected to this garbage. I'm supposed to be objective and unbiased. But how in the world can anybody be unbiased? How can anybody actually be just sitting around not doing, or at least saying anything? And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it gets even worse from here on out. We understand that according to the lawsuit as well, from earlier today, we understand that female employees were so hurt and distraught that, in fact, one of them ended up getting very, well, mentally disturbed. We also understand that this said victim was apparently a victim of blank harassment over and over and over, to the point where she finally decided to end it all. And I'll tell you, I mean, this is, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe that something like this would have happened. The fact of the matter is, the top executives of this company either knew about it or didn't, but the fact is, the people who knew about it didn't want to do anything about it. They didn't actually say much. They just let it happen. I mean, people like this are all a bunch of pigs, I'll tell you that much. A bunch of pigs. And I understand also the department had been receiving numerous complaints from the HR and management, including to the Blizzard Entertainment, Alan Brack. But it was to no avail. Of course, that little complaint went downhill. And I do have a quote here. It says, quote, employees were further discouraged from complaining. A human resource personnel were known to be close to alleged harassers, the lawsuit says. And it also states, quote, as a result of these complaints, female employees were subjected to retaliation, included but not limited to being deprived of work on projects. They were being blackmailed. If all these women were literally going to come forth and actually talk about this stuff with the law, they would be threatened to either be, well, perhaps maybe deprived as mentioned or fired or whatever the case may be. We understand also the lawsuit highlighted the pay gap between the genders across all roles. There was some sort of practice going on over there, of course, that very harassment-like practice, the culture that they were creating behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, also the pay gap, as mentioned. It states here that apparently there was a yearly salary of $655,000 for Claudine Naudin. And for the chief operating officer, Danielle Alegre, had a salary of over $1 million. So you can see that there is a pay gap between the two. Of course, the lawsuit also states that women in Activision had to work harder and longer to earn promotions and be given the same opportunities as their male counterparts. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to go and take you to the news. In fact, they actually picked this up where, again, California is willing to investigate and sue Activision Blizzard.
Frat boy culture. That is how Activision Blizzard is now being described here in this new lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. The state agency alleges that female employees there are subjected to discrimination, unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation, and unequal pay. According to the complaint, female employees make up around 20% of the company's workforce. They're subjected to what is described as pervasive frat boy culture. For example, so-called cube crawls, in which male employees apparently drink a lot of alcohol as they crawl through their way through the cubicles, often engaging in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. The agency is saying it seeks, among other remedies, pay adjustments, back pay, lost wages, and benefits for those female employees in an amount to be proven at trial. The company hitting right back, though, very hard here, saying in a statement, the DFEH includes distorted and, in many cases, false descriptions of Blizzard's past. A picture, they say, the DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. The state agency goes on to say this is all much bigger than just Activision Blizzard, though, that more generally sexism has plagued the gaming industry for decades and increasingly so, it argues, in recent years. Back to you all.
So interesting, Josh, here. And I have to wonder, if they say that this has plagued the whole industry, is there action planned against other companies? And what is the next step in this lawsuit here?
So now what the state agency is clearly making the case here in that lawsuit. It's not just Activision Blizzard. As I mentioned, they do say sexism has been a problem there for decades, and it's increasing. It's interesting. I did check in with Andrew Urquhart over at Jefferies. He has covered that industry for a very long time. He covers Activision Blizzard, and he agrees with the state agency. It has been a problem. We've seen that issue come up with other different companies as well. To bring it back to investors, though, what does this mean? Andrew says at this point, listen, he would consider this for Activision Blizzard a distraction for sure. He says it's not a good look, in his opinion, for CEO Bobby Kotick. But at this point, knowing what he knows now, it doesn't change his thesis on the stock. He still thinks Activision Blizzard is a buy. And remember, they do have earnings coming up here shortly on August 3rd.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome back to the Gaming Weekly. The fact of the matter is, I cannot even begin to tell you the amount of disturbance. I mean, I'll tell you, this is animalistic, what they did to these poor women, to the point where one of them ended up passing away. In fact, wanted to end it all because of the amount of harassment, the blank harassment that she was facing day in and day out. Can you imagine going to work every single morning with a smile on your face, doing what you love, doing what you do, and you have to face all this harassment on a daily basis? And of course, my heart goes out to all the victims out there that has been victimized at that because of the very hateful behavior from these guys over there at Activision Blizzard. We understand that, of course, Activision Blizzard did release a statement. They said, quote, "We are confident in our ability to demonstrate our practices as an equal opportunity employer that fosters a supportive, diverse, and inclusive workplace for our people, and we are committed to continuing this effort in the years to come. It is a shame that the DFEH did not want to engage with us on what they thought they were seeing in their investigation." So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know what you think. Do you believe perhaps maybe Activision Blizzard should be all to blame? Or do we blame the top executives who were in power at the time, knew what was going on, but did not do anything? Let us know what you think in the comment section of the open forum, folks. Thanks for joining us, of course, for Adrian, Matt, myself, and part of the Gaming Weekly. We will wish you good night. We will see you next time. And, of course, many more disturbing stories to come down the pipeline.